Now, the biggest reason many Americans support Donald Trump is a pretty simple one. Right or wrong, they think his ability to get rich would translate into making all of us better off by running the economy like a big business. The proof is in the poll. Take a look. Trump, best prepared Republican to deal with the economy. But can he deliver? Listen to what he has to say about job creation, trade deals, and diplomacy. He talks, you decide.
I'll be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. I'll take them back from China, from Japan, from Mexico, which is doing an incredible job. Their leaders are much smarter than our leaders. They're taking tremendous industry. If you look, Nabisco just announced they're building a big plant. They're leaving Chicago. Nabisco, I mean, how American can you get? Nabisco is building a big plant in Mexico. Ford is building a $2.5 billion factory, car plant, manufacturing plant for cars, trucks, and parts in Mexico.
How do you keep them?
You keep them by...
Because the labor's cheap, that's why they go.
For one thing, you keep them by talking to them. But I would say you keep them, if they go there, you know, they'll make cars, and they'll sell them to the United States. No tax, no nothing. Just come right across the border. The next thing you know, they'll have the illegals driving them right across the border. Take them in, drive them in. It's cheaper that way, okay? I mean, you have to talk to these people. You have to go and see the head of Ford.
And they say the labor's cheaper over there.
And you know what? Then we'll say, that's fine. If the labor's cheaper over there, that's good. But you know what? You're going to have to pay a tax to get the cars back in. You're going to have to pay a penalty. And if you put a penalty on, a tariff or whatever you call it, and believe me, China's doing it to us. China dumps all their stuff with us. And I'm not complaining about that. But I have friends that are manufacturers. They cannot get their product into China. So if they're going to do it to us, we have to do it to them.
And they'll say, but then my car's going to cost more for your people.
No, you know what? They're going to make cars here. And maybe a person will buy fewer cars over the course of a lifetime. Who cares? We have to bring back our jobs, Chris. We have to do it. We have no choice.
I hear you, but the question becomes how? You know, in the scenario you just pointed out, you have Ford saying it's cheaper over there and you're going to punish the consumer.
I will tell you, you're not punishing the consumer. And you're strengthening our country. We owe $18 trillion. It's going to be, very soon, going to be $20 trillion that we owe.
Big deal.
Okay? We have to start creating jobs. We have to start creating wealth. Look, we all go to good schools. I go to great schools. You go to great... You don't have to be even a smart... You don't have to be the great student to know when Ford builds this massive plant to build cars, and then they bring them back into our country, no tax, we get nothing. We get nothing. They leave Michigan. I was just in Michigan the other night. Unbelievable people. We had an unbelievable crowd. They leave Michigan. They take them out of Detroit and all over the place, and they go to Mexico. There's no way that helps us. And you're going to have to do something with a tariff at the border. If they're going to make cars over there, if they're going to leave the United States and create jobs from Mexico, not the United States, you know what? It's fine. But they're going to have to pay some kind of a price. We are getting killed on trade.
All right, let me go back.
Interestingly, Carl Icahn agrees with me, and Carl Icahn, as you know, is a great negotiator, and I have many other great negotiators. They are dying to get involved.
But you wouldn't really put him in charge of China.
I would absolutely. I'd say,
in charge of China?
Can I tell you what?
Please.
In charge of trade.
Because you know what that makes people think. It's like, this is not a business. It's a whole political, governmental thing.
No. It's a business, too. Hey, you can come up with me into this building. You'll see the largest bank in the world from China is in this. I have a great relationship with China, just like I do with Mexico.
Right, but don't you need the diplomacy and all of the policy people?
We have diplomacy now. They're killing us, and they don't even like us, okay? We have diplomacy, so we're diplomatic. They don't like us, and they're beating us. With me, they'll like us, and we'll beat them, okay? How do I have the biggest bank as my tenant? I mean, they're a tenant, and I have them in other... China, I sell tremendous numbers of units, apartments to people from China. They love me. Business Week had a story. What are the 10 things that the Chinese most want? One of the 10 things was anything Trump. And I say, really, is that right? They respect the truth. They understand they're ripping us off. I take a guy like Carl Icahn, you take Henry Kravis, you take so many of the guys that I know, and you say, you know what, I'd like you to watch over the deals that are being made with China because we're getting killed on trade. Believe me, we will be so good. You should get a guy like Carl on. Very smart, great negotiator. We will be so good.
You think he'd take a job like that?
He'd do it in 2 seconds. He's already told me he'd love to do it.
To oversee China, the trade deals.
Oversee the trade deals in China. In fact, I'd give him China, I'd give him Japan. He can handle both of them, believe me. But I have others. These are the greatest, we have the smartest, the greatest negotiators in the world. We have the greatest business people in the world. We don't use them. We use people like, I mean, she's a very nice person. My daughter likes her. Ivanka likes her a lot, so she has to be wonderful. Carolyn Kennedy. okay, in Japan. She didn't even know how she got the job. I watched her in 60 Minutes. She said, I asked for the job. They gave me the job. They said, would you like to be ambassador to Japan? I said, really? That was, and you know, as you know, the ambassador to Japan has a big role in trade.
Sure.
I would much rather have Henry Kravis. I would much rather have Carl Icahn. I would much rather have other people doing it. And you know what? We'll come out great. Hey, Chris, I was in Los Angeles, and I saw ships coming in from Japan. The biggest ships I've ever seen. Loaded up with cars. Okay, thousands of cars. They're pouring off the ships.
Because they're cheaper.
Wait a minute. They're pouring off the ships. You know what we send them? Beef. And they don't want it because they say, we don't want it. And we send them wheat. They don't want it. And you know what the imbalance is between these, you know, over the years, millions of cars and the little stuff we send them? It's massive. We've got to equalize it.
So there is Donald Trump talking to you about why you should trust him to make a difference in what problems will seem very obvious to everyone about the economy. Now,